Welcome to Castified. Today, we're diving deep into some truly fascinating insights. Stuff that's really poised to reshape, well, our careers, our lives for the next decade. We're looking at the World Economic Forum's Future of Jobs Report 2025. And look, this isn't just another report, it's huge. An extensive survey pulling data from over 1,000 global employers, that's what, more than 14 million workers, across 22 industries, 55 economies. It's massive. So our mission today is really to unpack the most important bits, the key takeaways from this incredible deep dive, to really get a handle on the job landscape from 2025 through 2030. We're seeing these mind-blowing tech breakthroughs like Gen AI hitting head-on with, economic volatility, global power shifts, even big environmental changes.
That's exactly right. And this report, it's just crucial because it gives us that forward look straight from the organizations actually shaping the labor market. It helps cut through the noise, see where the real opportunities and, the challenges lie for jobs and skills globally. We are definitely looking at a period of, unprecedented transformation.
Okay, so let's unpack this. The report lays out 5 major macro trends. These are the big foundational shifts changing the global labor market.
Exactly. And they're not isolated. They're all tangled up, feeding into each other. It's a complex picture.
Kicking us off is technological change. And honestly, the scale here is just staggering. The report says broadening digital access is the single biggest transformative trend. Something like 60% of employers expected to reshape their entire business by 2030. 60%? That really suggests digital skills are moving from niche to baseline.
Oh, absolutely. And within tech, AI, and information processing, they're the biggest drivers. A huge 86% of employers expect transformation there. Robotics, autonomous systems, that's 58%. Even energy tech is up there at 41%. But what's really fascinating, maybe the biggest surprise accelerant, is generative AI. The investment surge since ChatGPT came out in late 2022. It's nearly eightfold. That pace is just astonishing.
Eightfold. Wow. So how does Gen AI actually, change jobs? Is it just about replacing people? That's the big fear, right?
Yeah. It is a valid concern, yeah. But the report paints a more, let's say, nuanced picture. Gen AI can actually empower less specialized employees. Think about an accounting clerk, maybe a nurse, a teaching assistant. Gen AI could help that clerk draft complex reports faster, maybe help a nurse synthesize patient data for quicker insights. It lets them do more expert-level tasks, so it's augmenting their roles. And similarly, it can equip highly skilled pros, electricians, doctors, engineers with cutting-edge knowledge, help them solve complex problems faster, access info instantly. But crucially, and the report really stresses this, the big productivity gains. They're more likely if the tech enhances human abilities rather than just replacing them, because replacement carries big risks, more inequality, more unemployment. And it's worth noting how fast automation is moving generally. Global robot density doubled in 7 years, now 162 units per 10,000 employees. And that's not just factories anymore.
Right, that enhancing versus replacing distinction is absolutely key. It's collaboration, not just kicking people out. Okay, so beyond tech, there's this powerful economic undertow the report highlights. What's the story there?
Yeah, indeed. The second macro trend is economic uncertainty, the rising cost of living. That's the second most transformative trend overall, affecting 50% of employers. And right behind it, general economic slowdown. 42% expect that to transform operations. These aren't just numbers. These pressures hit jobs directly, slower growth alone, expected to displace maybe 1.6 million jobs globally by 2030. But interestingly, it also creates new demands. Businesses need people with creative thinking, resilience, flexibility, agility skills to navigate turbulent times.
Okay, and then the green transition, climate change mitigation, that's number 3. 47% of employers see it reshaping things. Adaptation is close behind at 41%. These feel like huge existential shifts, but also potentially huge economic opportunities.
Absolutely. This is a massive driver for completely new roles and skills. We're seeing serious demand growth for jobs like renewable energy engineers, environmental engineers, EV specialists, all in the top 15 fastest growing jobs. And what's really striking, environmental stewardship as a skill just entered the top 10 fastest growing skills for the first time ever. It really backs up the data showing green hiring consistently beating overall hiring rates. This has real momentum.
Next up, demographics. 2 big shifts here. First, aging and declining working-age populations, mainly in richer countries hitting 40% of employers. And then the flip side, expanding working-age populations in lower-income economies affecting about 25% of employers. These are huge slow-burn trends.
And the implications are really significant, yeah. Aging populations, they drive growth in healthcare jobs like nursing, and they might speed up automation. 79% of employers affected by aging plan more automation, likely due to labor shortages. On the other hand, growing working age populations. That boosts education jobs, like university teachers. And it puts a premium on skills like talent management, teaching, mentoring, motivation. It raises a big question, though. How do economies with growing populations create enough inclusive jobs for all those young workers? It's not just about numbers, it's about opportunity.
Yeah, those demographic shifts definitely change the talent game. But there's another big force, maybe less obvious: geoeconomic fragmentation. Basically, global economic ties fraying because of geopolitics, conflict. That's reshaping business for 34% of organizations. Trade restrictions impacting another 23%.
Right. And these trends, they're boosting demand for security roles, security management specialists, InfoSec analysts. They also increase the need for those human-centered skills. Resilience, flexibility, agility, leadership. You need them to navigate uncertainty. And an interesting side note, employers worried about these trends are actually more likely to reshore operations. Bring things closer to home, probably to shorten supply chains, cut geopolitical risk, get more control.
Okay, so we've got these huge macro trends swirling around. What does this all mean for the jobs themselves, the specific roles people do day to day? Because that's what everyone wants to know, really.
Well, the headline number is a structural labor market churn of about 22% of today's jobs by 2030. Think of it like a massive reshuffle. They expect 170 million new jobs created globally, but also 92 million jobs displaced. The good news, though, and this is important, is that it results in a net growth, about 7% or 78 million more jobs by 2030. So more jobs overall, but yeah, a big shift in what those jobs are.
That net positive is definitely encouraging. But where are the biggest growth areas in absolute numbers? Is it all high-tech stuff?
You might be surprised, many people are. The largest growth in absolute terms, expected to be farm workers. Around 35 million more jobs by 2030. Now, this isn't old-school farming. This growth is tied to the green transition, digital access. Think precision agriculture, smart irrigation, vertical farms, tech-enabled sustainability. It's redefining the role. Other big growth areas: delivery drivers, construction workers, salespeople, food processing workers, also the care economy, nursing professionals, personal care aides, and education roles, too. These are really core jobs showing fundamental services remain critical.
Okay. Now here's where it gets really interesting. What about the fastest growing jobs in percentage terms? That's got to be the tech roles, right?
You're spot on there. The fastest growers by percentage are heavily tech. We're talking big data specialists, fintech engineers, AI and machine learning specialists, software and application developers. And like we said, those green transition roles are booming too. EV specialists, environmental engineers, renewable energy engineers, they reflect those macro shifts directly.
Right. So if those are flying high, what about the jobs declining fastest? What roles are most at risk and why?
The report points to clerical and secretarial workers seeing the biggest drop in absolute numbers. Roles like cashiers, ticket clerks, admin assistants, executive secretaries also declining fast. Postal service clerks, bank tellers, data entry clerks, often jobs with repetitive tasks ripe for automation. But here's a big shift from previous reports. Graphic designers and legal secretaries are now on that decline list too, mostly driven by AI getting better and broader digital access to automated tools for design and legal work. Shows AI's reach expanding.
Wow, graphic designers, legal secretaries, that's a major shift for some fields. So what does this mean for skills? The report says 39% of workers' current skills will be transformed or outdated by 2030. That sounds high. But it also says the disruption rate is slowing compared to past years. Why is that?
That's a good catch. Yeah, this potential stabilization seems linked to a bigger focus on continuous learning. The report found 50% of workers got training in 2024. That's up significantly from 41% in 2023. So companies are clearly investing more in upskilling, reskilling. That adaptability is crucial now.
Okay, so for all of us listening, what are the most in-demand skills? Where should people focus their efforts to stay relevant?
Well, the fastest growing skills are, no shocker, technological. AI and big data, cybersecurity, general tech literacy. But crucially, they're complemented by human-centered skills AI struggles with. Creative thinking, resilience, flexibility, agility, also curiosity, lifelong learning. And like we mentioned, environmental stewardship cracked the top 10. Shows sustainability skills are becoming mainstream. On the flip side, skills like basic reading, writing, math, manual dexterity, they're seeing a net decline in importance unless they're combined with tech literacy. It's not that they're useless, but their value is increasingly tied to how they integrate with technology.
Which brings us to the elephant in the room, the question everyone asks. Is Gen AI just going to replace all our skills, our jobs?
Yeah, it's the big worry. The report tackles it directly, and actually, quite reassuringly. They looked at over 2,800 specific skills, and guess what? 0 were found to have very high capacity for substitution by current Gen AI. In fact, most 69% have very low or low substitution capacity. Gen AI struggles with physical tasks, nuanced judgment, hands-on stuff, where it excels. Augmenting things like data mining, applying machine learning, summarizing info, so it strongly reinforces that idea of human-machine collaboration, not outright replacement. The challenge, though, is clear. Skill gaps. They're the single biggest barrier to business transformation, cited by 63% of employers. The report puts it starkly. If the global workforce was 100 people, 59 would need significant training by 2030. That really frames the scale of the challenge.
Wow, 59 out of 100. That's
Yeah.
a huge undertaking for everyone. So if you want to future-proof your career or transition, what skills really separate the growing jobs from the declining ones?
Growing roles consistently demand significantly more resilience, flexibility, agility. Also programming, tech literacy, resource management, analytical thinking. And where manual dexterity is still needed in growing jobs, it demands higher specialization plus tech literacy. Think a surgeon using robotic tools, not just basic dexterity. It clearly shows the shift towards cognitive, adaptive skills, often meshed with tech fluency.
Okay, so faced with all this change, what are employers actually doing? What are their main workforce strategies?
Number one, by a long shot, 85% of employers is upskilling their existing workforce, followed by accelerating automation, that's 73%, then hiring new staff with new skills, 70%, and complementing or augmenting the workforce with tech, 63%. So a clear focus on adapting current talent and integrating tech.
And beyond training, how are they trying to attract and keep people in this landscape?
Supporting employee health and well-being is a major focus for attracting talent. That's 64% of employers. Good reskilling and upskilling programs are also seen as key retention tools. And while companies mostly fund their own training, 86%, do they say government funding is the public policy support they welcome most. Suggests a need for partnership there.
What about hiring itself? Are degrees still king, or is that changing?
Great question. Work experience. Still paramount. 81% say so. But there's a definite shift away from relying only on university degrees. Only 43% still require them. Instead, skills assessments are used by 48%, psychometric tests by 34%. This skills-first approach is gaining ground, seen as a way to broaden talent pools, look beyond just credentials. Though it's worth noting the report found a concerning gender wage premium gap. Men tended to get bigger pay bumps than women when changing job types, shows ongoing equity issues.
And with AI being so pervasive, what are companies specifically doing strategy-wise for AI?
Well, a big chunk, 77%, plan to reskill and upskill their current workforce specifically to work alongside AI. That really highlights the augmentation idea. Nearly 70% also plan to hire new people with skills to design and build AI tools. But it's not all additive. 41% also expect to reduce their workforce where AI can automate tasks. And critically, the top barrier to adopting AI, it's not the tech itself, it's the lack of skills to use it effectively.
This Future of Jobs Report 2025 really paints a complex picture, doesn't it? Dynamic, lots of change, but ultimately kind of fascinating. While there's rapid transformation, uncertainty, that overall net positive outlook for jobs is good to hear. And it seems employers are getting more proactive, understanding they have to invest in people and tech. It's not optional anymore.
That really is the core takeaway. Navigating this future, it depends on proactive, smart decisions today from individuals, from organizations. The report just hammers home the importance of tackling skill gaps, supporting job transitions, and finding that right balance between automation and human augmentation. It's really about building a future of work that uses tech to boost human potential, make us more adaptable.
Indeed. So as this landscape keeps evolving so fast, maybe the question for you listening is, what proactive steps are you considering? How can you ensure your own skills stay resilient, stay relevant for the journey ahead, and maybe help contribute to a future that truly works for everyone?